So we'll draw 2 cards here. Sweet. Another Stargazer. That's awesome. So we'll play Arcane Focus, which is unfortunately going to hurt us. That's fine. We got a couple of Stargazers here. I'm going to grab the Peak here. Play out Sapphire Shard. If you're coming from Magic, it's maybe like a 5. It's not that complicated comparably. Just get infinite Stargazers into our hand here. So I'm gonna play all these Stargazers out, and I don't think he's gonna be able to keep up with all this life gain. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the turn here. So Stargazer is sweet as an activated ability, either gain 2 life or loot. And eventually these Prophet-sized creatures are just going to all be flying in the air and be kind of probably just too much for him to deal with here. I actually wrote an article about an introduction to Hex for people who've played Magic. You can find it on Hex Primal here. It explains some of the differences. Mind Pyre. Ooh, that's really good. Getting 2 life. So now we're going to take 2 damage every time we draw a card, but he's almost dead, right? We've got 9 flying power here. Brown Fox Scout is quick and is 5 more flying power. So we're taking a bunch of damage every turn, but he's dead in 2 swings. Yeah, he's dead in 2 swings. Alright, and there's a Brown Fox Scout on top of my deck, so I'm going to go ahead and play this out. So this card is sweet. It's normally just a 3/2 that you can play off the top of your deck. So before I drew my card for the turn, I saw it was on top of my deck. So I played it off, and now we'll draw my card for the turn. Play this Wild Shard out. I'm going to go ahead and just gain a bunch of life with these. I'm going to put my Counter Magic and my Peak back in my deck because I would like to draw those possibly. We can gain some life here with the Stargazers, and then he's going to be dead next turn if he can't kill us this turn. So we got that going for us. I'm going to attack him for 5 in the air, and then next turn we have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, so we'll ship. So hopefully he doesn't have a bunch of burn to close the game here. I guess we're not just dead. We can gain 4 more here, putting us up to 14, and we can gain 6 more on our turn. But if we have to gain life, we won't be able to close the game necessarily, so we've got that to worry about too. So he's got 6 resources and 4 cards. His champion's ability is not relevant for 4 more lands, basically, 4 more shards.
Come out of the cage.
I might peek here at end step before I activate both the Stargazers to see if we hit a Brown Fox Scout. Yeah, Stargazer I really like. That was... I ended up just paying some cash for cards. I dumped like $100 into the game.
You're awfully cranky.
He's getting teeth, Mom. He can't help it.
I like how you're just tossing diapers in the game. So I gotta keep it very clean.
So, opponent's in the tank.
You just made more work for yourself.
There's a draft format. There's a... When you sign up, you get 200 cards to play just for free for creating an account. Most of those aren't very constructed playable, but you can play them for free in the campaign against the opponent. against the computer. And then there's websites like Hex Primal and 5 Shards where you can just buy cards for cash, or you can grind gold in the playing against the computer into platinum to buy cards to play the PvP.
That takes way too long.
It does take a while, though, as my wife is pointing out. So he's killing a Stargazer. That's what he was probably doing math about. So we'll gain some life here. And then Stargazer is going to die. So we're going to peek at end step here and see if we can find a brown fox. We got 4 looks at him, basically. Time Ripple is actually really good. So Time Ripple is going to save us some life because we're going to be able to return one of these Mind Pyres to its hand. So we'll gain some life here. So we draw 1 card at the start of our turn, and then I'm going to go ahead and bounce this Mind Pyre to his hand. And we draw our next card for the turn. So the way he killed that means that we don't have lethal on the table anymore, which is unfortunate. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and ship for 12 here in the air, and then he's dead next turn. And we can hypothetically gain up to 8 more here. Yeah, but I mean, like, having to track things down in the auction house, it's not like MTGO bad, but like, even if it's just like, you know, a couple, 5 to 10 cents more for a couple of cards here and there, like, it's sometimes it's worth your time to not just have to deal with it. So we've kind of flooded out here a little bit, but thankfully Stargazers have been keeping us in the game, just like gaining us a bunch of life while we beat down with our Brown Fox Scouts. So it's sweet. Like, this is a cool example of a mechanic that's digital only that you would just be impossible to keep track of in paper. When this card comes into play, it gives the next card in my deck 2/2 in flight, and then as long as the next card in my deck is also a Coyote, which all of my creatures are, that also gains the same ability. So basically, every one of my troops gives my next troop 2/2 in flying. So that's why all of these guys keep getting larger and larger. When this enters play, the next troop your deck gets. When this enters play, put target action cost equal to that from your crypt into your hand. So that doesn't matter. It's flying, so it could matter, but not really. Unless he's about to draw some cards here. So we're going to gain some life up to 15 here, I think. And then next turn, he's just dead in the air. He's got 1 flying blocker to block my 7-power guy. But then he's dead to the Stargazers and the Brown Fox Scout. Howdy, Care Package TV. It's up to 15 now. Start the turn. Draw. And look, there's a Brown Fox Scout on top of my deck. So instead of drawing that for the turn, we're going to play him out before we draw. Then now we'll draw for the turn. We drew counter magic, so this game's probably just locked up. So we're going to ship with Brown Fox Scout, and then I'm only going to attack with 1 of the Stargazers. That's all we need to be lethal. Yeah, just ship like that. Because especially since we had counter magic now to counter in case he can do something. So deal combat damage, take 8. Dead. Yep. So we're up a game now. We get to go to the reserves, which is essentially sideboarding. What do I want against his deck? I don't think... It doesn't seem like he has a lot of creatures in his deck, so I'm going to cut the Martyrs and the Pride's Falls. Nature's Reign, destroy a constant, so that's pretty good. That's for all those things that were sitting on the table. Verdict counters a non-troop card, so that's probably pretty good. Mass Polymorph's kind of like a big top-end sweeper, so I don't really need that. Cluckadon eats his 1-drop, and it gains us life, so we're going to bring that in. I think I'm going to trim at least 1 Windsinger. I guess the downside to Cluckadon is that it's a... The Cluckduckin is that it's a non-Coyote spell, and like getting the Crow Feather online seems like it's really valuable. So maybe I actually don't want that in this match since he's not like a super aggressive deck. I just want like all of the counter target non-troop spells and then the Nature's Reigns. PC in. I'm probably not going to be on much longer. I've got something to do at 6 o'clock tonight, and it's 4:45 here already. Jake went down about 1. Do you want to check on him? So go ahead and submit. This is my last match. It's a Gauntlet Service of 3. Care Package TV, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Follows and subs are the way we support the stream. Alright, so we're going to be on the draw for this game again. Yeah, I'm going to be in Philadelphia playing a Magic Open this weekend, so I will not be able to play in any of those. You hear my computer chugging pretty hard in the background. Can't wait to get my new desktop computer this weekend. It's going to be a little bit more powerful than this old laptop I've been playing on for a while. So again, we've got just double cantrip to start the game, which is great.
Yay! You did it. Good job. High five. High five.
I kind of want the Coyote to get pressure on the table. It lets us curve out better too, but Time Ripple's pretty good against all of his constants. I think I'm going to do this just because it lets us curve better though. So next turn we can go cantrip plus Thunderfield Seer again.
Mommy's gonna go check on your brother, okay?
So next turn we'll go Wild Shard, Thunderfield Seer, Arcane Focus, activate Wintermoon's ability. Nature's Range was a phenomenal draw, because anything scary he could play, Nature's Range will pretty much take care of. And we're going to take this Arcane Focus that draws an additional card because it got prophesized by Thunderfield Seer. We'll put these 2 focuses back into the deck. He's just not doing anything, so I don't think I'm going to cantrip this turn. I'm just going to play out this Sapphire Shard and then start chipping away for 1 and just hold up counter magic here. And then next turn we can play the Wild Shard and then play the Arcane Focus to draw 2 cards and still have counter magic up, so it seems valuable. He has a Thunderfield Seer of his own. Yeah, that's fine. And then we're not going to be attacking with Thunderfield Seer anymore because our life total is more important than his for sure. I'm going to take the peek. We've got 2 more resources in our hands, so we probably don't need that. And we drew and we hit a verdict, so that's pretty good. Skip attacking. Because again, I'd rather block. He has more life than us, and he's kind of the burn deck. We're definitely the control deck in this matchup. Like, just know your role. Block. I'm going to turn off my stop at the start of combat. What do you got, bud? Rage, Fire. I'm going to counter this because it makes all of his other Rage Fires cost more. If we get hit by counter magic back, that's the worst, but I wouldn't be... Oh, wow, that is savage. Rough. Alright, wish I hadn't done that now. That was also his prophesized card, so we would have stopped him from drawing a card had that resolved. So, it's not the worst, I guess, but it still feels pretty bad making our counter magics cost 5 now. So I'm going to play Shard of Fate here and get a... We're going to get an extra Sapphire because that makes our peaks better.